I know your time is valuable, so I'll get right to it. Throughout this episode, I'll be giving out the exact strategies that took me from £100,000 in bad debt to building a $13 million portfolio. But this journey has given me more than wealth. It's inspired a mission to help everyday people like you take control of your financial future. So every week, my team and I pour everything into bringing you market updates and proven strategies because we genuinely believe that everyone deserves financial security. No gimmicks or empty promises, just real insights from someone who has walked this path. And to help spread these insights to others who need them, I truly appreciate if you could subscribe to our channel. When you hit that button, you're telling the algorithm that our content is valuable, which helps us reach more people who deserve this opportunity. You're joining a community dedicated to financial independence for everyone. If you do subscribe, here's my promise. My team and I will make this show better for you every week. We'll listen to your feedback, answer your questions, and continue supporting your journey to financial success. So thank you for being part of this mission. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Lunchtime Investor. It is episode number 5, Keith. How exciting. That is absolutely amazing. And so here's the thing. This is all about you spending some time during your lunchtime eating your ham sandwich or your cheese sarnie, and basically you eat, we talk is what it was basically about, okay? So you're lucky, I'm getting ready to eat. But anyway, so episode 5 is all about don't listen to what Wall Street are saying. Watch what they're doing. That's what you need to do. You don't listen to it, watch what they are doing. So we're going to tell you how is that actually going to happen. Okay, so we're having a bit of a challenge here. Can we just get the moving? Yeah. So, Keith, what have you been up to?
Not much. Enjoying the sun. You gotta love that. But
I was talking more about the markets.
Oh, market-wise, okay. You've got to be specific.
Okay, that's true.
But on the market side, it's just been more about managing the positions. As we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, right? We've been investing into some of the strongest companies possible as a company and as an individual, and it's all about just now managing them positions. We've been seeding on the way down, as they say, and we've been reaping the rewards now, and some of the profits are just very good. Let's just say that. And the main thing right now is where are we now going to focus for the next couple of weeks?
Okay, so this is what I think is actually happening in the markets. Can we just show this slide? Is that possible? Because what people are seeing, I mean, I get WhatsApps all the time from people, and they're like, oh my goodness, look what that idiot is doing, and I can't believe it, and people hate this guy, right? I'm not even going to mention his name.
I think they know who we're talking about.
Okay, well, if you look at this slide, you can definitely see this, all right? And, people's portfolios going up in fire, and of course it's his fault, it's his hair's fault, it's him. Okay, but actually, behind the scenes, what is actually happening, he's doing deals.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the biggest things that investors don't look at, especially beginner investors, they just go based on propaganda. And that's what happens. That's what drives the market, right? Propaganda either causes people to be fearful or be greedy. And when they're seeing all about tariffs, recessions, oh my God, everything's going to beep, okay, everyone's getting scared. They're selling. But is that really what the bigger players are doing? The most consistent investors are doing? Do you think Warren Buffett would be selling when prices are down? Probably not. He'll probably be having a different mindset around that. I think that's something that we're going to highlight today on the mindset the main players have, especially when it comes to investing.
I'm sorry, I'm really having a challenge here because we've got an echo, so I can hear absolutely everything. Yeah, I agree with you. So this is what's actually happening. But actually, are we surprised, right? Are we surprised at this? What are we showing? Are we showing the slide or us, right? Yep, okay. Yep, okay. Because basically, really, the market doesn't like uncertainty.
No.
It doesn't even matter whether the deals are good or not. You'd be surprised. I remember, I think it was Iraq, when we went into Iraq, I thought this was the end. I always thought then we're going to go in, then they're going to bomb us and everything like that. Do you know what happened? Was as soon as we went in, the markets went up and they carried on in a bull market. And I thought, how can they be in a bull market when we're at war?
No, 100%.
And I think, what do you mean 100%? And basically, and it's all about people don't like uncertainty. As soon as there is certainty, good or bad, like war was bad, right? the markets will start going up. So all of this, as Warren Buffett always says, is just noise. And yet, Keith, we react. Oh no, what if it's different this time and I'm going to lose all my money? What do you mean you're going to lose all your money? The worst thing they could do is going to go up, down, maybe down a little bit longer, called a bear market. But in the end, it always goes back up.
100%. And again, when it comes to investing, what you've got to realize is your money really safe? If you're invested into the strongest companies possible, and in the time you probably were investing in the strongest companies possible, right? You're probably investing in the Microsoft, the Amazons, them kind of companies. And you were happy to invest on the way down. When people are uncertain about their investments, guess what they do? They panic. They panic along with the market. When I see the likes of Nvidia, the likes of Google, the likes of Amazon, when I see them drop 20, 30, 40, 50%, I get...
Panic, you sell.
No, I get dollar signs in my eyes. Because I'm like, this is the best time. It's time to buy. And I think for a lot of beginner investors, that is the hardest challenge that they've got, because they believe that as prices go down, that means the company is going bad. And I always ask the question, let's just say a share price drops 50%. If a share price drops 50%, does that mean the company's lost 50% of its staff, 50% of its revenue, 50% of its profit? No, it's just the share price has dropped. And that is what people need to get their heads around, especially when it comes to investing. A drop in share price doesn't mean that the company's dropped 20, 30, 40% in activity.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I wish I knew what to say next. Slides, please. Hello. No? Right, we are going to wing it. Okay, so if we have a look, like you said something about NVIDIA, right? So for example, you see all these pullbacks and you think, is AI over? When actually AI has got to be the biggest trend we've seen for a long time and is likely to carry on for, well, at least the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Would you agree?
I would say even longer than that, I'll be honest. AI is just the beginning. AI is that foundation, and then guess what you've got? You've got quantum computing after that. And then what's the next development after that? So I feel this is the next couple of generations that you're going to see AI and blockchain really come into the forefront and utilize in the modern world. You're seeing like the likes of McDonald's. They're using artificial intelligence to take your orders rather than having staff there. You're literally talking to someone on a screen and they're taking the order for you. So then it's taken away that human interaction. And some people think it's good, some people think it's bad. But again, when you're looking at AI, the boom has not happened yet. And that's how I see it. It's at the beginning phase. The biggest AI boom happens when the mass adoption comes into play. When it's really used in the real world and you see the applications happening every single day in your life, that's when the AI boom happens.
Yeah.
So
but if there's a downturn now, you want to be getting in.
Of course.
And for the people watching here, I know some of your members, right? So you understand because we've taught you. But the others, the new people that are here, you have to understand. When somebody says something somewhere and there is a downturn, that's when you have an opportunity to get into the best of breed, the creme de la creme, you know, the blue chips that sometimes don't even go down more than 10%, and suddenly they're down 20%, 30%. And most people's mind is this is the end of the world, when actually this is the beginning of your fortune. You should be getting in. Now, there are strategies. You don't just pour all the money in and hope for the best, but you basically, you know, invest peu à peu, as the French say, you know, a little bit at a time, à peu, and then come in as it goes down. So that's the strategy that we use. As our members know, but a lot of people don't. We feather in as it goes down, and we feather out as it goes up. That's basically what we're doing.
And if you have a look at Nvidia, okay, I think Nvidia is a classic example. We see that the prices are falling with Nvidia, and look where prices go. When you think that Nvidia during COVID dropped what, nearly over 50%.
Amazing.
And then where did it go after that? It went up over 150%. Then again, after COVID, you saw the trade tensions between the US and China, restrictions on semiconductors. That dropped Nvidia another 30%. Where did it go? It went up once again to, I think it was around 70%. So there is a lot of interaction with Nvidia. When Nvidia drops, is your money safe? Yes or no? And the answer is going to be yes. And then it's all about, right, how can I now feather into the market and make profit as the market goes up? And this is the challenge that new investors have. Because once they start see price drop 20, 30, 40%, they have panic setting in. And that's what we don't need. We do not need the market to panic. We just need to be able to invest into the strongest companies possible and make as much profit as the market goes up.
Put it there.
Okay?
We're having real challenges here, guys. Okay, we are back on track. Okay, do we have any questions here? What is your take on INJ, which is a crypto, as I heard they just tokenized the MAG7? What are your views on that?
I believe INJ Injective Protocol.
Wow,
which
that's not a new one. That's quite an old one.
I think Injective is an old one.
Yeah.
But the tokenization of the stock market has been spoke about for so many years, right? And what does tokenization mean? It basically makes the stock market 24/7. So like crypto, you can trade it whenever you want to trade it. And it takes away the power for the institutions to be able to trade outside of market hours. So it gives a level playing field for all investors and traders. I feel in the future that's going to be probably one of the biggest steps for the stock market, investing and trading wise.
Goldman Sachs, one of the largest financial institutions in the world, announced not 10 days ago that that is their next project. So what's really interesting is when they're not small because they're all worth hundreds of millions of billions, but relatively new kind of player like Injective Protocol, for example, says they're going to do something. That is great.
Yeah.
And don't put all your money in because a huge player, because they've been around for so long and they have a lot of influence and contacts, etc., like Goldman Sachs, which is a public company, so you can use our strategies on that. They're the ones that are probably going to be doing it. And they might buy Injective Protocol, for example.
Could do.
But hey, I love that because that's innovation happening, which is absolutely...
But the one thing, again, we talk about don't listen to what they're saying, do what they're doing. Look at what institutions were doing a couple of years ago with cryptocurrency. It's a scam. It's the biggest scam in the world. We're not investing. What were they doing? In the background, they were investing. They were building a foundation. They were building ETFs. So now it's like, right, you told me not to invest. I then didn't invest, but you were investing before me. And that is the propaganda that you don't want to listen to what they do what they do. And that is how you're going to be consistent
so Keith,
in the market.
My question is, what do they do? Let's just show this slide if we can, because is there any chance of showing this? Oh, no, we can't. Oh, can we show this slide? I won't be able to yeah, is it a yes or a no? Yes. It's a yes? Okay. So as you'll see, hopefully it'll come up in just a moment. So basically what happens here is that throughout the years, there's always been some pullbacks.
Yeah.
Right? But what happens after that? Each time it goes up much, much higher than before. That's the stock market. That's what it does. Most people don't realize this, Keith, but on average, since the beginning of the stock market in the, I think, 18th century, it has averaged 6.9%. So let's say 7%, because over the last 10 years, that average has been 10%. Now, inflation being whatever, 5, 6, 7%, there's official numbers, there's unofficial numbers of this, of course. But if you already know that there is something that has gone up, like between 7 and 10% a year, why are you not exposed to that? Why is that? And you know what the reason is? Because people think it's not tangible.
Yeah.
Right? But these are real companies making real revenue. And now we have cryptos. That's even more untangible, but it's the future of finance and the biggest wealth distribution since the internet. So it's all about education. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
And look at what history's taught us, right? The dot-com bubble, what happened? Massive panic and drop in the market. Where did the market go? Brand new all-time highs.
Absolutely. But, and here's the thing. If you are at a certain age where you need that money right now, yes, you're right. You are in trouble. That is true, right? Okay. But if you're not, if you are like Warren Buffett, who, by the way, you know, he's retiring now at 94. He'll be 95 when he does actually retire. I think, is it like, I mean, we should learn from that. Like, he obviously enjoys what he does. Why, you know? And so we're like, oh, I can't wait to retire at 65. Oh, they've changed it to 67. Well, one of the richest men in the world is doing it since 94. Is it because he loves it so much that he's rich, or is it because he's rich that he loves it so much? You know, it's kind of chicken and egg. Yeah. And I just think that don't be in a rush. He's not in a rush. He doesn't care if the stock market closes for the next 5 years. That's how he thinks. And we're like, I need the money right now. Most people that come to us want cash flow. But actually what they should be focusing on is growing their wealth. So you can see on this chart here, it always goes back to all-time highs.
The dot-com bubble, massive drop, all-time highs. The financial crisis, massive drop, all-time highs. COVID, massive drop, all-time highs. You've now seen
Trump.
Trump's tariffs.
Sorry, I mean
we
the
have-
president.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say his
whoever
name.
that is.
But we've had a big drop in the market. It went into a technical bear market, dropping 20%, and give it a couple of weeks, couple of months, we'll be brand new all-time highs again.
For sure, 100%.
You can never be 100%.
Remortgage everything and put it in.
No, you couldn't remortgage everything. But what you could be looking at is investing a good amount of money in the strongest companies, as we always say, because they're still down from their highs.
But you need a strategy. You can't just invest. Otherwise, you'd invest a whole load of money and it could go down. When you need the money, or if you need the money, this is it. This is what people do. If you should only be investing money, I don't think money that you can afford to lose. I think that's why I'm not investing money that I can afford to lose. I'm investing money that I don't need over the next few years.
Yeah.
I think they should change that. You know, don't say, oh, don't invest money you can't afford to lose. Why would I invest in something I can afford to lose? I invest in big blue chip companies. Nothing's going to happen in the next 2 years that I'm likely to be in it. If it shoots up amazingly, if it doesn't, I'm good with that. I'm just going to lower my average price. Let's have a look at what people are saying here. So invest how much percentage of your portfolio into INJ? I mean, I must have something like into INJ. I might have maybe 0.01% of my portfolio in INJ, if that.
Yeah, they're a small cap. So when it comes to small cap investments, the smallest cryptos out there, they have a high amount of risk associated with it. So again, when something is risky, you invest less money. And when something is more certain, you invest more money. It's very simple in that sense.
You know, Lucas says something here. Goldman Sachs is working with Ondo.
Okay.
Right? On the same case, doing that, working together. So then personally, my money is now on Ondo.
Yeah, because when you go into a project and you use the team, what do you use them for? Experience, knowledge, and money, right? So if you're saying Ondo, we're a brand new cryptocurrency, we're trying to tokenize the stock market, what do I want? I want someone who's already in the game, someone that's proven, they've been in the game years, making money, and now I can use their experience.
I think this is it. So like we're talking about crypto, you want to get into a team that has the experience that you say, the contacts that you say have done joint ventures, exited several times, all of this good stuff, which why there always has to be a LinkedIn profile on there. If there isn't one, run for the hills, because these people might not even exist. It's a scam. But they also need the blockchain part of, not the same people, but the team need the blockchain experience. But you can't have people who are just business people, and you can't have people that are just blockchain experts. However, let's say Ondo was just a blockchain expert, right? And they didn't have any, but they do a joint venture now with Goldman Sachs.
They've got the team around them now.
Now they have the team around them.
And I think that's the thing for anyone looking to learn anything completely brand new. What do you want? You need to leverage someone that's already doing it with proven records, right? Their experience, their knowledge. Think of it like you go to the gym. What do? You hire a personal trainer. You don't hire a personal trainer that's not got the experience, do you? You don't hire a personal trainer that doesn't have the knowledge, because how are they going to move you forward? How are they going to help you? And It's the same here.
I'm smiling here because Keith told me before the episode that he almost died. Was it today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
What happened? Tell us.
So it's actually a funny story, and I don't know, it's going to make me look silly, but we were in the gym doing a bench press, and someone kicked my foot, and the weight dropped on the bar onto my chest, and fun times. So
okay, carry on with the story.
Okay, so as Marcus is eating his lunch, which is pretty healthy, by the way.
I'm the lunchtime investor.
It's got chicken, so it is pretty healthy. But yeah, so gym, lifting, and then the bars accidentally dropped because someone decided to kick my foot as they walked past. By accident, by the way. Didn't do it on purpose. I don't think it's a conspiracy or anything behind that. I think it was just accidental.
When you told me that story, you told me in a very different language.
Yeah.
You said those stupid beep, 16-year-old
I don't know if we
beep.
can speak. I don't know if we could do that language on here, though.
I don't know.
That's the problem.
You'll have to ask. What is it? Ask for forgiveness rather than for permission?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So since that time, he says, having chicken and beans stuck in my teeth. I mean, in terms of Bitcoin, but also Nvidia. We'll have a look at Nvidia in just a moment, actually. But everything's gone up. I mean, you look at BTC, for example. So Bitcoin, it hasn't quite reached this all-time high, but it almost hit 105,000.
Yeah. Almost. And it's close. And right now, Bitcoin is at the highest dominance against other cryptocurrencies than it has been. That is a good and bad thing. Good because people are buying into Bitcoin, and that's pumping price up. That's increasing the dominance there. But a bad thing about this is When the dominance is an extreme level, what do people tend to do? They take profit. They start reallocating that back into altcoins. So you could.
Do you think it's the altcoin season yet?
Not yet. I do think there's a bit more way to go up for people to accumulate into Bitcoin, take profit off the table, and then start building back into altcoins. But again, that's our first signal. Once we see the Bitcoin dominance at an extreme level, then we see Bitcoin start breaking structure, meaning a higher low that is created, it's traded below that. All of a sudden, we'll then see money transition into altcoins. And I think we do want an altcoin season quite quickly because we are investing into a lot of small caps here.
I don't know whether we can show this chart, can we? The NVIDIA one. Because like we just showed the entire market every time it pulls back. Now, you might, when you first start, want to keep with an ETF, an exchange traded fund of an entire market, which your money cannot go to zero. People, please understand. You think the stock market is, risky. When you go into an ETF like the S&P 500, there are already 500 different stocks in there. This thing can't go to zero. As soon as one of them is weak, they take it out and they replace it with a stronger stock. So, I mean, for this to go to zero, you've got World War III, and you are not thinking about your stocks. You are running for the hills. The hills, well, that won't save you either. So, and if we just have a look at the NVIDIA chart here. Yeah. You have a look that, I mean, I can't see it here, but basically, every time it goes down, it goes up to new highs. I mean, percentage-wise, it goes down, it goes back up, it goes down, it goes back up again. Now, so if you wanted to take on a little bit more risk, then you do go out of the ETF. I mean, this might take a few months and years to learn, right? And then you will go into actual stocks that you've done your research on. You know that they can't go to zero. NVIDIA is leading the charge on AI. You said yourself, this is going to be the future. So, once you have that confidence, and this is the point, you have to have the confidence, because otherwise you go in once, as it falls, you go in again, and we have predetermined levels. That's the strategy, predetermined. You can only go in 8 times. So we know when we're going to go in advance, right? But on the second, third time, you're fine. But on the 4th or 5th time, squeaky bum time.
Nervous, right?
Okay, that's another way of saying it. Yes, nervous. I should have said that. You're nervous. Nervous, right? Going in the 4th, 5th, 6th time, 7th time, oh my goodness.
Panic.
And that's why you need to have done your research. How many of you have ever invested in something where you didn't do your research? Has anybody ever done that? That's a problem. Because you're not going to get in again. You're going to, I've already gotten in, I don't want to go in again. And I mean, that last time that you get in at that bottom price to lower your average price is the most important investment you're going to do.
Yeah.
Because that really lowers it even more.
And one thing that I love about this is it follows the same suit as what we saw in the overall market, right? We see a crash in the market makes all-time highs. Crash in the market makes all-time highs. Look at NVIDIA. We believe our money is safe in NVIDIA. We get a drop in NVIDIA's share price. Why? Because of an event that's occurred. That event could have been COVID. It could have been the restrictions on selling chips in China. It could have now been the tariff situation and the delay of the Blackwell chip, which I'm actually in NVIDIA right now.
Oh, yeah?
And again, because NVIDIA for me was a fundamentally strong company. I've been in NVIDIA.
Okay. Let me ask you another question though, because let's do this move over. And by the way, if you did want to know what the strategy is that I keep talking about, the value cost averaging strategy, then you actually have my book, 25 Years of Trading and Investing Experience, that we teach, right? The Lunchtime Trader, and you have that in the notes. So you can download that for free. But if you wanted to do this, right, so we've got ETFs, right? You've got stocks like NVIDIA, but if you really wanted to, make even more money, there's 2 things you can do. Number 1, you could take more risk by using leverage, right?
Would you do that?
Me?
Investing?
No. No. And I would say no. We're not allowed to give advice. This is education, right?
Of course.
But I will give you one piece of advice. Don't use leverage. I'm sorry. I know we're not supposed to give advice. Do not use leverage, right? That could destroy you. Now, the second thing you can do, though, is just use another market. So get away from stocks once you know what you're doing and move to cryptos. Because when you see the falls in crypto, they are a lot more than they are in stocks, but the gains are
huge.
I mean, huge. We have Andy coming on next week. I think we're going to interview him. And he turned, I don't know how much he started with, but he's been with us for 4 years, and he's up to 700,000. Do you remember Henry last
Yes.
last one did really well? He's at 400,000, but I think that's in less time. But I think that Andy is up to 700,000. One of his trades, he made over almost 2,000%. It was 1,000 something percent. And that
In
wasn't
one
stocks.
investment.
Yes, and that wasn't stocks. That was in cryptos.
But that's the great thing about diversification. And again, when you take on more risk, the returns are there, but you have to do more research. Don't just jump into anything. We were having a conversation about someone that got into AMC, right? Just threw money in. Why did you invest into it? Because everyone was talking about it. What, now 90%. Same with some of the cryptos. You invest into meme coins because everyone's talking about them.
Not because you've done your research, because you believe in it, because there's a utility, and so you can't wait for it to come down. No, they're investing in something everyone's talking about, and they're hoping that it's going to go up. We never hope that it goes up. We hope that it goes down so we can accumulate. We are the Warren Buffetts of crypto. And so when Bitcoin goes down, how many times? 18 drawdowns of 30%. Let me repeat that. Bitcoin has fallen 30% 18 times, but has gone up 25,000% in the last cycle. It's well, maybe not the last cycle because that can't be right. But so who cares about the drawdown? In fact, not only who cares about the drawdown, let's have more drawdowns. A drawdown is just a pullback. A drawdown is just where we can get in, basically.
Look at the previous bear market in crypto, which technically are we still in, are we not? That's another conversation. But look at Bitcoin, where it went from, if you have a look, it went from 70,000 all the way down below 10,000. Okay, we had a big sell-off. Everyone was panicking. But what were the bigger players doing? They weren't panicking. They weren't selling. So the retail investors were selling. The bigger players like, thank you, I'll take that.
That's how they make their money.
MicroStrategy is a classic example. They've been accumulating no matter what the price is.
We're going to come on to that. Ethereum has 21 drawdowns of 30 to 90%, but up 29,000%. Binance Coin, 5 drawdowns of, listen to this, minus 70%, right? But went up 38,000%. Many of you who are members, you know that that's where I made a big chunk of money. I put 2,000 into BNB, Binance Coin. It went up 30. My one, when I got out too soon, obviously, 31,000%, and turned that 2,000 into 620,000. And that took 4 years, so just one cycle. Because people say, yeah, but how long did that take? Well, it took 4 years. People can't even wait 4 years.
No. But the thing is, what you done, I assume, is it was a smaller amount of money that you risked in the crypto market compared to what you do in stocks, right? Because you know that the stock market is fundamentally safe with the biggest companies possible.
Well, that's interesting. So do you think that the stock market is safer than cryptos?
For me personally, at this moment in time, the answer is yes. The reason for that is stocks is black and white. It's a business. You can see the money they're making or losing. With crypto, you can't do that just yet.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. I know what you're saying, though. So in general, the stock market is full of companies. Correct. So you're being the Warren Buffett who buys into companies
where
that he believes
in. Where you see them making money.
But I got to tell you, although Bitcoin might not be making money, there are some that are making money. So, for example, Solana is making a lot of money, and BNB, Binance, is making a lot of money. I mean,
because of the amount of transactions on Binance.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. And by the way, Coinbase just bought Deribit for 2.8 billion or something ridiculous. You know, I think it was 700 million cash and the rest was in shares. But they're going to be a powerhouse now as well. Coinbase, by the way, a competitor of Binance. Binance being the largest exchange in the world, and Coinbase is the largest crypto exchange in America.
If you have a look as well, Coinbase is the only SEC regulated exchange for crypto. They're the custodian for, I think it's 10 ETFs.
Yes,
Bitcoin.
BlackRock,
and
definitely.
They have just been introduced to the S&P 500 as of yesterday. So
it's probably my longest stock holding in a, how can I explain this? A crypto stock. Crypto stock, can I say that? Yeah, a stock that takes advantage of crypto. We're still in there. My kids are still in there right from the beginning. So again, the theme of today is don't listen to what they are saying, Wall Street is saying. Do what they are doing. But the thing is, how do you find that out, right? Because the institutions, they never stopped. All this time, when it was going down from its top of, would you say, 108,000? And it went down, you know, went down to 80,000, even 70-something thousand. The institutions never stopped buying. You have to understand, they never stopped buying. The inflows into the ETFs were massive. Yeah. They never stopped.
You just see accumulation happening all the time. Look at the amount that, again, we go back to MicroStrategy. as the price was falling, how much were they buying?
Yeah.
They have apparently, and this is apparently, they have half the holding of what Satoshi Nakamoto has. And he's the creator of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So they have half of what
he has a
owns.
million, doesn't he? He has a million Bitcoin.
And I think they're at 500,000 now, in that sense, if you give or take. That's half.
No. What do you mean? Oh,
MicroStrategy's got half.
Now they have a. How did he even lose half? Yeah, and so all these ETFs and you're right. BlackRock, Fidelity, MicroStrategy. So businesses now. Here's another thing that I'm sure that some people might be aware of is that the MicroStrategies have really set the trend of borrowing money and then investing into an asset, which funnily enough people are calling the hardest asset out there because there's less and less and less scarcity, and the amount that they are making available into the world for people to buy is slowing down as well. So now there are huge numbers of companies that are basically pivoting. They're pivoting. They're going away from whatever it is that they're doing, whatever that is, and they're going, so well, actually, we are now the new MicroStrategy. But what most people don't realize is that there are now 9 other companies that are getting into. Actually, let me ask here on the chat, which coin are companies getting into as well as Bitcoin? What is the number one crypto? Do you know this?
We spoke about it.
Okay, fine. I know you know this. So I need to surprise you more, not discuss these things beforehand. Which crypto that these companies are actually getting into and saying, hey, we're the new MicroStrategy, but we're not doing Bitcoin, we are doing, and on the chat?
What are we thinking?
Oh. Do we have any at all, any answers? Okay, we'll let you answer. How about that? Let's see whether you're right.
Let's hold it.
Yeah.
And see if they, by the end of it, if they've all got the right answer.
Yeah.
Leave it as a cliffhanger.
You think so?
I think so.
No, tell them.
No, keep them on to the end. You don't give everything at the beginning.
Oh
right?
my goodness me.
You got.
Just don't forget. So these are public companies now that are, I don't know, they could be manufacturing, they could be education, whatever it is they're doing. And now they've just turned themselves into, we're going to be the MicroStrategy of. Okay, you don't want to say it. That's fine.
Not yet. But again, you've just got to look at, if they're buying certain cryptocurrencies as an asset, don't forget, an asset brings money into your pocket, a liability out. If you're buying an asset, like say Bitcoin, do you believe Bitcoin's going to make you money in the future? And again, do what they do and not what they say. So we've got a couple of answers. So we've got Ethereum. A couple of people are saying XRP.
That's because you're here. They're just sucking up to you because they know that you love XRP. They're just like, pandering to your delusions here. No, actually, no. Okay, XRP. It could be the future. Who knows?
My number plate is going to be expensive after this.
That's why. Yeah, you want to sell your number plate. For those of you who don't know, you see, Keith believes, he walks the talk. Not only does he buy XRP, he has a XRP on his car number plate. That's dedication for you. And the answer is, Warren says Solana. Could it be Solana?
Catalina says Solana as well.
And the answer is Solana. Absolutely, Solana. There's 9 companies doing that now. So, but what's so important about that? You've got Bitcoin, you've got Solana. What are they not doing? Right? John says it, buyer. They're not doing Ethereum.
No.
They've skipped Ethereum. No company is saying, I'm going to be a proxy for Ethereum. They're doing Bitcoin. And now that's old, kind of news. So now they're doing Solana. There's one company that just the other day went public and it went up 1,300% in one day. I mean, look, this is speculation stuff,
right?
No,
of course it is. Of course it is. But again, if they're buying, we got to think of it logically. If they're buying Solana as an asset, do they believe in the project?
I would assume so.
So therefore, do we believe in the project of Solana?
What, because they do?
No, not because they do. We do our research, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
No, but what I'm saying is that this is an opportunity. Like people say, well, I don't really understand, the crypto and the hash and the wallets. And, what you can do is you can buy a proxy.
Yeah.
A proxy meaning, something like MicroStrategy has so many Bitcoin. It is like buying Bitcoin, really. But it goes up more than Bitcoin when Bitcoin goes up, but also down. So watch that. But that's just an opportunity to buy more. By the way, which I did. And it's good. It's good, right? And here's the thing. Could you now be making more money? Because I said, okay, if you want more, then you can go from stocks, you can go from cryptos because it's more volatile. But with these proxies, you could now go back to stocks and you could do your research on those. And 1,300% in one day isn't bad, is it?
It's not bad at all.
It's not bad.
Sniff that. But the thing is it more about making more money? For me, no. It's all about making tax-free money.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
So again, if you're investing into MicroStrategy and that is a indirect access to the crypto market, you can invest that in your ISA.
Because it's a stock. You can do stocks in your ISAs, yeah.
So Coinbase, again, if you want exposure to the crypto market, Coinbase is there. If you want the proxies, as you just said for Solana, you can invest into these stock-based companies in your ISA and SIP, hence making it tax-free. Whereas crypto, as we know, or some people might not know, we pay tax on every transaction we make in crypto. So that's a problem there. Whereas investing into stock-based companies that are utilizing cryptocurrency and blockchain technology or indirectly buying crypto, that's our best way.
I mean, I do agree. The only thing that I would say is don't let the tail wag the dog. So don't buy into, the stocks now because you can wrap it up in an ISA. You've got to learn strategies, make money, and then see how you can wrap them up, if at all. So that would be good. Let's check the chat here. So a lot of people said Sol. One message was retracted. Maybe they didn't get it right. Let's see. But shall we buy more? Ooh, question mark, asked Catalina. Right now, it's around minus 20. What shall we buy more? More of what? Shall we buy more? Buy more what? Let's see. Catalina, Solana? She's probably talking about Solana. Right. So, go on, you go. Go on, I'll do it. So, first of all, I would say that Solana is making around 65% of all transactions. Like I said before, it's like a black hole sucking everything in, and the bigger it gets, the bigger it gets. And because it gets bigger, the bigger it gets. So all the joint ventures, all the new D-apps, the decentralized applications, etc., everything is being put, all the transactions, the meme coins, which, we're not a fan of, etc. But now there's a rumor that Solana is going to be used as the blockchain to tokenize stocks, for example. So for me, you said, shall we buy more? If that's a question, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I'm doing. And the answer is yes, is absolutely. I think it's undervalued.
Do you see a massive upside to Solana?
What's massive for you?
So let's just say 400%.
Oh yeah, in this cycle.
Compared to Ethereum?
I would say so.
Yeah, I think Solana, in my opinion, has a bigger upside than Ethereum because it's being utilized a lot more. Now, Ethereum, when it comes to DeFi, decentralized finance, they are on top right now. But again, if they can't work out their speed, their costs, why are other companies or projects going to adopt them? Because they want easy transaction, they want to make it scalable, they want low cost, high speed, and therefore, is Ethereum the right one to have? Now, am I saying Ethereum is going to go zero? No. Is Ethereum going to make money? Most likely, because it's the second largest cryptocurrency out there. But at the end of the day, is Solana going to outperform in the next bull market? In just opinion-wise, I'm not giving advice. I believe Solana is going to outperform, and other layer ones out there as well. The likes of AVAX. I think AVAX for gaming is going to outperform. And then the likes of Near Protocol coming in with a new mechanism called sharding. I think that's the next layer.
Sharding isn't new, but
how they're utilising it. Yeah, correct.
Okay, fantastic. Well, listen, I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're munching away while we are suffering. Are you hungry?
A little bit.
Yeah, because it's lunchtime for us as well.
It's about what?
We need to change the time. This is ridiculous. I've taken a good bite there. So basically, I hope you enjoy this. I just want you to know that what we're going to do next week is we've got a special guest coming on. It's Andy, right? Andy, who turned, I don't know how much he started with, but he's now on 700,000. So he's going to share that and how he did it and his pitfalls. And he's now a full-time trader. And I want to know from him, what does that mean? Does that mean full-time money, or does that mean full-time time? Okay, so we're gonna squeeze him like a lemon and get all that stuff out of him. So I hope you'll be looking forward to that for next week. But remember, never quit. Because if they and people like Andy can do it, you can do it too. See you next week.